Joining us now is the author and commentator Austin Williams. Austin, there's a bit of a tightrope that the Prime Minister will still have to walk.
Oh, absolutely. It's a rock and a hard place, isn't it? I mean, obviously, Trump hasn't shown himself to be the greatest of allies. The special relationship is strained at the moment. But I do think that Mark Carney, for example, the Canadian Premier, who has suggested that he wants to do deals with China because it's a more stable and reliable ally than Washington, is a much more dangerous shift than we can imagine. So I do think that there's a need to form alliances and do deals with China. There's no getting away from that. It's the second biggest economy in the world, so we would be foolish to avoid it. But at the same time, I still think, A, we have to be a little bit wary about what China's intentions are. And secondly, I think we have to be a bit more confident than Starmer has ever shown that actually Britain has got something to offer in this process. We're not just kowtowing, kowtow Keir, as he's now called. We're not just kowtowing to China and hoping for their magnanimous response. We actually have something to offer them that they want.
Now, Austin, do you not think that he is, I mean, you've sort of alluded to it there, but do you not think he's sort of compromising our national security in the just to get more trade? I mean, if you look at the Chinese embassy, which seems like utter madness to me, most people looking at it would say that's a bit of a dangerous or precarious position that you're putting the public in.
Well, I mean, spies got to spy, as they say, and we're building a British embassy in China, and I'm fairly sure that we're not doing it just to increase the British Council's trade in poetry or whatever. I think there's all kinds of shenanigans that go on. I mean, look, China has been hacking the phones, we understand now, for years of British government officials. They don't really need an embassy in an underground bunker to do that. They do it in broad daylight. So let's just be a little bit real that that's what goes on. I agree with you in some respects that it just seems a bit foolish that we're giving them this gigantic site right in the heart of London without having done due diligence on working out where the cables are. But I mean, the intelligence agencies are suggesting that they've got it in order. What can I tell you? But I do think that there are dangers because China is a major ideological power, not just a kind of an economic one. And I do think that their notions about lack of autonomy, about centralized authority, are things that we have to be careful about. As it happens, Starmer's very keen on those things. So you can understand that he's not selling out. He's actually probably advising. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that Britain has lost some of its liberal virtues and values, and in no way is China influenced that. That's done on our own accord.
And just to point out, there's phone hacking charges. They're allegations at the moment. But anyway, make of that what you will.
It is interesting, is it not, that it was Britain that kicked off China's century of humiliation from the 1840s through to just after the Second World War. China was not a colony of another country, but in basically in most ways it was. We basically determined what rules would be set there and controlled that country for I suppose, for want of a better word. Is there now perhaps a long memory in China, and perhaps the shoe is on the other foot now? Could it be that China would like to do a bit of what we did to them throughout the Victorian era to Britain, control our terms of trade, even impose things upon London in the same way that we opposed things on Beijing?
Well, I don't know if it's as colonially motivated as that. I mean, China has this kind of internal policy of not interfering with the internal politics of other countries. You can take that as with a pinch of salt. But obviously, but they're not kind of saying they're going to come over here and feed us all opium and send us into our beds so we become mindless individuals, which is what the British did to China in the 19th century. But I do think that China does have a long memory. China does remember the century of humiliation, even though it's gone into myth rather than generational mindsets. And they want to have some payback. That's understandable, surely. I mean, in some ways, obviously, they have much more of a cognizance of Japanese intervention in the war and the horrors that took place there, and that maybe plays much more of a significant impact on them since Japan is kind of a Western country, inverted commas, and on their border. and they're actually dealing with them at the moment in a political and diplomatic manner. But you never know how these things can heat up, as they say. So with Taiwan, with what went on in Hong Kong, there's all kinds of pressures and expansion potential that China does have. And let me tell you, they are beginning to flex their muscles. So in some ways, I agree with you.
Austin Williams, thank you very much. He's an author and commentator. You can't